Are you listening? Damn.
Another episode of Trash Talk. I'm Damion Hill.
TJ O'Connor.
Brought to you again by Inkstrings Tattoo out in New Brighton, Minnesota, Valhalla Combat Sports out in Fridley, Minnesota, and On Deck Management out in Denver, Colorado. Couple of cards going down this weekend. Brock Larson making his promotional return out in Brainerd, Minnesota. And then we have the boxing matches going down on Fox Sports 1 at the Minneapolis Armory.
Yeah, no, there's a couple really good cards. It's great to see that Brock Larson is back in the promoting game. I know when I was coming up in the amateurs and when you were making your early pro fights, Brock was a big fixture in the Minnesota MMA scene. You could always expect him to put on good cards, and it's great to see he's back, especially in his home area of Brainerd.
Yeah, I mean, he used to, back when I was first starting to fight as a pro, and I think my last amateur fight was under his promotion, actually. And he was always throwing down fights at the Target Center also, and for him to be back home and having some hometown guys on the card, I mean, hopefully it does sells out, does well.
Yeah, no, definitely. I hope everybody buys tickets and goes and supports. I think the main event is Mark Hummel, a tough guy. I think he's from Brainerd, so that should definitely bring some seats in. And then I think the fight everybody is most excited for, you got the pro debut of Angel Pacheco. He's fighting Ash Magic, who always brings it. And I think this is a really fun fight. Came together on short notice, but, I mean, really, really brought the card up a notch, I think.
Yeah, I was going to say, because that's a pretty quick turnaround for Ash. He just went through a war with Jay Paulson, and I mean, that could have easily have been fight of the night, Mm-hmm. And for him to go out there, I mean, against a tough Angel, I mean, that's going to be a great fight.
Yeah, Ash ain't scared of nobody. Ash will fight anybody, anytime. And I think it's a great fight for Angel making his pro debut. I mean, this is a guy who's as experienced as it comes. I think he had over 12 amateur MMA fights, and I read in an interview somewhere that he had over 50 amateur boxing matches. Yeah, so you're talking about someone who's well-versed, especially in the stand-up field. He's very experienced. And then you look at the gym he trains at. He trains with Brock Larson. He trains with some of the best grapplers in the state. So you can just expect a well-rounded game. And with his level of experience, just a calmness in the cage. And that's why I like watching Angel fight.
Yeah, no, he's definitely a beast. I mean, and he's competed in I don't know how many grappling tournaments and stuff. So, and training with Brock, we know that he's no slouch on the ground or on the feet. This is actually going to be a really tough test for Ash. This is
a really tough test. I mean, Angel is one of the top amateurs in the state. When I was making the rankings here for the official Trash Talk rankings, I had to take that into consideration because if he wasn't making his pro debut on Saturday night, he's a top 10er for sure. I weighed that into consideration, and I wanted to give the amateur guys who are going to be continuing amateur a shot at this. But when I saw that he was making his pro debut, and then they were able to find such a game opponent like Ash, someone who's going to show up ready to fight, I got excited for that one. I mean, like if you're in the Brainerd area or up north at all, buy your tickets, go out and support these guys. There's a lot of good fights.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely agree. Moving on to the next one, the boxing card.
Yeah, I mean, I know we like to focus on MMA a lot, but with a boxing card this deep, that's a fun one. I mean, we got the Minnesota Sun himself, Caleb Truax, former world champion, and he's fighting another former world champion in Peter Quillen, a guy that has been around the block himself. And this is a fun fight for everybody. I think it's a great fight for Caleb at this point in their careers. I think Caleb puts a beating on him. I really do. I'm not obviously I'm biased here, but I think Caleb does get a stoppage here in the 8th, 9th round of this fight. A little bit later, he's able to outwork him and really show his tough boxing skill.
Yeah, no, I've been really proud of the effort and the combinations and everything that he's just been able to put together in his last few fights, and the fact that there's a huge following behind him right now. Granted, he's already had Minnesota behind him, but the attention that he's getting from the national and world circuit, it's crazy. And he's bringing it all back to Minnesota, giving all the credit to Likes Boxing Gym, giving all the credit to the people around him. I mean, that's amazing. How many world champions do that? I mean,
I mean, he's as true of a guy as it comes. My favorite thing I've seen this week was a PBC clip that they showed where they showed him working out at Likes. And I think the quote that he said in the thing was, they don't have showers, but the roof leaks sometimes. And that just goes to show the kind of gym that is. I mean, it's such a hardy gym, and we've both been there, lucky enough to spar before, and you kind of get the idea of what the room's like in there, and it's very serious. And when you're talking about Caleb, sure, he's coming off a loss, but that was a close split decision for the world title. This guy hasn't declined at all. He's going to bring the fight. He's going to beat this guy up, I feel like, and it's going to be in Minneapolis, live on TV. If you can't get tickets because it's going to sell out, be sure to tune into Fox Sports 1 and support these guys. I mean, as far as and then there's other Minnesota locals on the card as well. Vashon Owens is on the card, tough prospect from the Circle of Discipline. Uriel Lara, another guy from Likes Boxing Gym. He's another Tony Gergelko guy with Caleb. He's on the card as well. I was super disappointed today when I saw that Danny Huffman was not going to be on the card anymore. Something happened to his opponent. He was injured. So, best of health to his opponent. But it sucks we're not going to be able to see him fight as well.
Yeah, he's definitely a top prospect in the state for Minnesota boxing. I mean, and he's always working hard. I mean, his social media presence is there. You know he's in the gym. You know he's training. You know he's always getting ready, and you know that he's dedicated. So.
Yeah, all those Jungle Boy guys are tough. Everybody from that gym. I mean, there's a lot. They focus a lot on the amateur boxing side of it. I was lucky to compete for a Jungle Boy card a couple years back, and see the work they put in and just the passion that Zach Walters himself has for Minnesota boxing. It's so great. Just all the combat sports. Minnesota is on the real turn up right now. There's a card on TV in Minnesota. It feels like every other week, at least every other month, whether it's boxing, MMA. And it's great to see that Minnesota fighters are getting this shine finally.
Yeah, definitely. I can't wait to see how this weekend plays out. I'm not going to be able to watch all the fights at the exact same time, but I'm going to be staring at the TV screen with my cell phone in my hand, going back and forth, checking out both fights and the status updates on each one. I heard Brock might be adding some grappling matches as well on his MMA card.
Oh, that'd be great.
If that's true.
I can't confirm that. I'll have to look into it, but that'd be great. I think just getting guys the exposure, especially the exposure in front of a live MMA crowd. You can't get that exposure, the nerves when they lock that door, whether you're throwing punches or not. I feel like that'd be good, especially for the up and coming amateurs to get a feel for that. I mean, I see that.
Walking out to the cage with your music, everything. It's the perfect way for an introduction to the real thing,
Yeah.
Anything else left to say?
No, I mean, like I said, support your fighters. If you're in the Minnesota area, whether you're in the Twin Cities, go to the boxing card. If you're up north, St. Cloud, Brainerd area, go support the Brock Larson card. The Bud Brawl Saturday night in Brainerd. Like I said, tough fighters. Mark Hummel, Angel Pacheco, the number 2 ranked Trash Talk official amateur at 155. Noah Landris is on the card. So there's a lot of tough fights up in Brainerd. And then, like I said, we're talking about world-class boxing down in Minneapolis. So no matter where you're at, you can't go wrong. Just be sure to support Minnesota Combat Sports.
Yes, and thank you again for watching. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, Trash Talk _ 612, and the same thing for Instagram. So please be sure to follow us.
He doesn't need any of the smoke. Like I said, if you can't inhale the smoke, don't talk about the smoke.